FinX names and the buzz on FinX can absolutely move like wildfire. It can be hard to keep up with everything. That's what I try and do for you guys each week. And I try to find and scan for the most popular names on Financial X, FinX, and try and digest them for you in a reasonable way, straight through technical analysis. All right, let's get to it. This week, our first one is MTSI, MACOM Technology Solutions Holdings. It looks like this move here was ignited by earnings. I'm not sure anything about the earnings, but if we want to zoom out, let's start at the weekly. Already huge pump 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks of rest, and now we have, so 2 weeks ago on volume, and now we have an earnings week on volume that broke out of that 2 weeks of rest. It even undercut them and then came back and closed above them. So this name is actually pretty darn strong. It looks pretty good. This is that 2 weeks of digestion from this move here. If you guys want to try and find some way, you can set an anchored VWAP to the liftoff day on high volume. This is like the first day move. And then manage risk off of that, entries off of that. You probably missed it already. The area to watch for is this breakout area. I'd say 233 to 230-ish, 229 area. It's got to hold that and move higher into next week. But overall, MTSI, it looks pretty darn good. Freshpet, I remember this from back in the day. It was pretty popular. Obviously, if we zoom out to the weekly, it has gotten crushed ever since over the last year. You can see that it has some sort of a rounding pattern here. I do have levels marked out based on the daily level here. And basically, you can make it pretty easy. Prior areas of supply that failed, right? That tested and failed, that tested and then failed. So here we have a nice consolidation, pulled back to the 50 EMA. It went above the 200, pulled back, the 20 held, it closed above the 8 EMA. So Freshpet looks pretty decent moving into next week. However, the thing is the risk reward going to be actually worth it? If you buy down here, you have a potential supply here, and then you have a potential supply at 75. So if we mark out percentages, that is 4%. That's 5%. It's pretty decent. From here, that's 10. And then from that, this first level, you have to really be kind of a sniper. That's 5% move. So you'll have to take this in like 5% move increments. That's what makes most sense to me. I don't know. It could be worth it as long as you get a pretty tight entry here. Looking at intraday, you can go 30-minute time frame. You can even go to 65. Let's look at a smaller time frame though. What we could do, you could see that we were making lower lows and lower highs. Now, this was barely a lower low here. I believe that was yesterday, and then today we basically equaled out to this high here. So we still have not made a higher high, but what I would look for is maybe we find some supply in this area, come back to set a higher low versus this low, and then we make a higher high and then trend and breakout. So there's a scenario for you in Freshpet. It looks decent. I think MTSI looks better overall though. Target's making the buzz this week. This actually looks pretty darn good. So let's go into stages here. Firstly, we have a stage 4 downtrend here. Then we have a consolidation. It's been consolidating ever since April 2025. So basically the past year. And now it has probably the most important level that it had to break was this area here, this 109 to 107 area. And it broke out, pulled back, and then it broke it again. And so now it's holding. We had a decent move today on 4.25%. Looking at the weekly here, you can call this a nice double, maybe even 1, 2, 3, triple bottom. Broke this neckline and it closed above it. So you can call this a triple bottom. Target looks pretty solid moving forward. This is a trend reversal. eBay got smoked. I have no idea why. I don't know if you're looking to catch a falling knife here or if you're looking to short it. It hit the 200 EMA. The 200 EMA held here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these times it hit this pinkish line. I mean, it undercut it and closed above today, but this looks broken to me. It's just in a huge box and not doing anything. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I wouldn't touch it. USAR, news last week that I'm pretty sure is like the U.S. government was buying billions of dollars in rare earth minerals or something like that. And so it popped up, and guess what? All it did since then was sell off. So what you can do is set an anchor VWAP, high volume day right here. This gives you the average price per person, of the participant of the market, and gives you an idea of where they're at. So since this point in time, the average participant is underwater. You can see that it continues to reject it. It's below the anchor VWAP from this high here. It has potential to set up. It broke out of this consolidation range. So as long as it's holding above this $19 to $18 range, it has a chance to start curling on up. But right now, it's not super clear. I'd be careful. SMR, I don't know why this is popular right now. I mean, energy is just energy and power is popular in general. I don't know why this name is right now. It's not doing anything. It's underneath the short-term EMAs. It's underneath the 50. It's underneath the 200. The 50 and the 200 are going down. It's consolidating. It's not doing anything. So until it breaks down of this $14 or breaks out of this $23, it's just stuck in a range. If you're a range trader, have fun, good luck. But you're going to have to range this. That's going to be a choppy, sloppy mess if you're trying to swing that. I'm not touching that. FLNC at an interesting area of prior support. This looks broken though. Something happened on earnings. What you could do, if you're interested in trading it, you could set an anchor VWAP to the earnings and then kind of monitor that on a shorter term time frame. We haven't even touched it yet. Nice gap down. Yeah. Oh wait, actually I put that in the wrong spot. Let me adjust that here. Boom. So we did tap it here, and it's either way, just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. So prior area of support, I think this breaks down. It probably goes to here, 1540, next level. It probably tags a 200 EMA, which is at this 1650, 1660-ish area. Just doesn't really look good. LAR pulling back pretty strong. Broke out of this nice ascending triangle, you can call this, in my opinion. There's kind of that shelf, higher highs and higher lows. This name, it seems like it likes to consolidate, undercut that consolidation here, get back into it, consolidate, undercut the consolidation, get back in it, and then break out and move. So you could make an argument if it wants to continue that pattern. Here's a consolidation. It undercuts it. This is a little bit deeper relative to these here. These failed to move lower. This continued to move lower. It's at the 50. I have an anchor VWAP from this all-time high here. Pretty decent distance away. This probably has to chop. But overall, it looks like nice rounding bottom. This could be a trend reversal play. You just have to let it set up. I wouldn't touch. I'm not touching it. Not financial advice ever, personally. All right, PayPal got crushed. Earnings. This is pretty much huge consolidation area. This prior 58 to 56-ish dollar area was prior support. We also had a prior support down here at $51 to $50. That has failed, and it was annihilated. What was it down? 20%. Jesus, that's unfortunate. Where can this go? Let me zoom out to the weekly. We are here. I don't know. Maybe it finds a bid around $38, which is basically now. Next, I'm looking at these little points here. Next could be 34, and then maybe even $30. So another decent amount down, another 10% down or so, 10, 12, 15%. Maybe look to short this thing, unless I don't even know if it's a value play, but just from a straight technical analysis point of view, looking at the shorter term, lower lows and lower highs are being made. Maybe even this could be a little bear flag on the 30 in a larger time frame downtrend. This doesn't look good. I'm not going to trade it myself, but I would look for shorts here. That's what I would do. Rivian just continues to be a disappointment for a lot of people. Every time this thing freaking pops, it gives it all back. You can see it has a history of doing that. Once again, it did it again. If you zoom out to the weekly, It's just a choppy, sloppy mess. I don't understand the appeal to Rivian personally myself. Maybe longer term, it'll actually break out and start to trend on upwards. But right now, just looking and scanning at the EMAs, it's a choppy, sloppy mess. Not interested. All right, so those were the top 10 of this week. Let's go over the history of the FinX because there are actually some names that look decent. Example, TSM. Taiwan Semiconductors. Semiconductors held up the market today. This is a nice consolidation here. I would look for a breakout above this high here of 351.33 and look for continuation on TSM. That looks pretty good. SMCI, this was another interesting one that I saw on some BuzzFeed going on. This is consolidating here. Maybe something must have happened on earnings volume wise. So you could put an anchor VWAP to the earnings here. And you can see that the average participant is now above water. If I zoom in on the 30 minutes, it's easier to see. There it is right there. And so we're holding. I would look for a move above this range here. I wouldn't touch it until it's above 35.93 personally, in my opinion, 36. But range-wise, it's in a huge range. So it's at a prior area of support. Maybe it moves all the way up to this. That would be a huge, insane move, like 80% or so. It looks interesting. BE looks better. Bloom Energy, consolidation, rounding, right? Here we go. We broke out. Nice little, you can make an argument it's a cup and handle. Broke out, coming back to retest the area again. It held the undercut of the 20 EMA. It did close below the 8. So it's an interesting look, not the greatest close though today. RGTI, this looks like trash. Don't go catching a falling knife right now. Maybe long term there's a story to it, but right now, short EMAs, it's just going down. At a potential area of support here, or close to it, but not looking good. PLTR, not looking good. You can see this could be a distribution. It could be starting to a stage 4 decline. I would look to see what it does if it gets back to this 144 to 150 area. If it rejects here and starts going lower, we might actually start to downtrend, even though the earnings were awesome in this name. It is what it is. There's a price action. Micron, holding high, pull back to the 20 EMA and closed above it after undercutting it. This still looks strong. The trend is your friend until it bends in the end. Short-term EMAs are up, moderate-term EMA is up, and 20. It's a very strong name. It's 13% off of all-time highs. So this is moving. MSTR had earnings. This looks not ideal. Nice consolidation here. It broke that. So what I'm basically looking for is what happens when it gets back to this area 150. If it hits and then rejects and then goes back lower, that is probably the scenario. And then it goes here and then it gets lower. I don't know, potentially. Or what could happen is it moves strongly, taps it, finds prior supply, sets a higher low versus this low of 104.17, then gets back into this range and then maybe chops around and then works its way back up eventually. But really, in order for this thing to actually make a meaningful turnaround, I think it's got to get it above at least this 190, 192 area. But until then, it's just a choppy, sloppy mess. It's got some work to do to actually make a meaningful turnaround, in my opinion. AMD at a prior level of support hit the 200 EMA. Potential gap fill coming up on any other further weakness, 22% off of all-time highs. Tesla looks good. Actually, I lied. Doesn't really look good. It's just ranging. It's basing. I do think it has a big year in 2026 coming up. Year is still early, but it is a sleeper right now. Hood has gotten smoked. This is probably due to the crypto selling, 56% off of all-time highs. That's not ideal whatsoever. We had a big move. I tried to catch a trade yesterday here, but it broke the lows of yesterday. I was expecting some sort of bounce, especially in the short term. The last, since the 23rd of January is sold off 34% in itself within 9 days. So it's pretty far down there. I was looking for some sort of bounce. We got a nice 14% bounce today, still not even at the 8 EMA. What I would look for is what happens around the 8 EMA or the 21 EMA. Could get up to the 20 EMA and hit the 95 to 97 area. I would watch what happens in that area. If it rejects, there's a potential to, just like Palantir, start actually trending lower. Otherwise, it could accept back into the range, hit, set a higher low versus this low, and then back into here, and then maybe it turns around, but not sure. We're just going to have to see. NVIDIA, nice push today. Still not doing anything big picture. ONDS, this failed to break out, looking for a higher low. Nothing to really do. These names can move at any point in time. NBIS continues to hold this pretty important level of 78 to 76. Had a pretty nice move today of 16%. These names move, right? That's why they're popular on Financial X, FinX, momentum name. But overall, it's not doing anything. I would wait for it to break out and actually start trending, because otherwise it's just chopping around. IREN, same thing. This is just chopping around. We had some nice volume after earnings here. What a move today, 5% or so. Maybe it starts to actually do something, but until it breaks out of this choppy, sloppy mess, I wouldn't touch it. Zeta at a prior area of support in a range, not doing anything. LRCX, this is nice, trending upwards over the 21, over the 8. This looks pretty strong. You could potentially look for an entry here. Rocket Lab getting hit right now, testing this prior breakout area for the second time. This $66 level, 66 to 70-ish, pretty important to hold. So I would look for that to hold and maybe push out, but it does look like it needs to base a little bit more. Path failed to hold this. We'll see what happens if it gets back in here and it accepts that. Obviously, that level will hold at that point. Otherwise, it is in an area where it can reject and continue on lower. If it does that, 1070 is probably a target. CoreWeave, setting a higher low versus these lows here. But really, it's just kind of chopping and not really doing anything. It's probably going to end up going up and start trending upwards again. It's a very hot topic name. It's kind of a name of like future and AI tech and infrastructure build out, but it's just not ready yet. Rocket looks terrible. Broke out, failed to break out. Now it broke these lows. Well, actually, kind of held them, but now it just looks like it's going to sell off even more. I wouldn't touch it. I'd wait for better opportunities. PL looks pretty decent. Failed to hold this level here. I'd look for a bounce for this 25 and a potential reshort. Volatile name at the 50. I wouldn't say anything significant. IonQ, this is a shortable area in my opinion. Pretty important prior support area that it is at. If it starts pushing away, there's a short opportunity, and then maybe that goes to 27 area. Even if that fails, you can get to 20 or so. EOSE at a prior area of support, just consolidating, chopping around. If you're a support buyer, this could be an interesting level. It is also at the 200 EMA. And then KTOS, this broke out, failed to hold it. Now it's kind of retesting this level here, this 82 to 83. It's in a downtrend. I'd wait for it to break a downtrend. So there you go. There's a look. MSTI looks pretty decent for next week. TSM looks pretty decent for next week. Just looking for breakouts. MU looks okay for next week. It's a mover. Those are probably the best names to look out for. Target also looks good for next week as well. All right, there is FinX Weekly. Those are the trending names. Just make sure you have your plan, you prepare, and just don't press buttons because other buttons are tweeting or other people are tweeting these things and you feel like you're going to miss out. Have your plan, you do you. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my weekly video coming out Sunday morning, and we shall see you later. Bye.